Action Workshop, already a big name in the sport of jet skiing, made its entry into top-flight motocross in 1991 by signing up 4 times British 250cc national champion Jeremy Whatley, alongside his former mechanic at Suzuki, Ian Brown. Their brief was simple: to contest and, if possible, capture both the British Open and World 500cc motocross championships. This surprised people who thought of Whatley as a 250 Grand Prix specialist, but he had finished as high as 3rd in 500cc Grand Prix back in 1985 when he campaigned at Kawasaki for Alec Wright. And it was to Alec Wright and Kawasaki that Action Workshop turned to mount their rookie challenge in 1991. Alec explains how the marriage came about.
Alec Wright, now you've decided to back a private team, Action Workshops Kawasaki, with Jeremy Whatley.
Well, the deal for Jeremy is, as you know, through Action Workshops, and it's going to be strictly production bikes, and that complements what we're doing with the factory bikes with Thorpe and Maley. But I'm very keen to get production bike in the British Championship with a front runner. And I've followed Jeremy's career for many years, as we all have, and you may remember he rode 500 for us some years ago with quite a lot of success. Jeremy's getting to the stage now in his career where if he's serious, using all the experience and talent that he's got, he can be a winner.
Julian Clark, an ex-top 40 rider himself, and he's tied in some outside sponsorship from John Osorio, which I believe his main interest is jet skis. How did the two of them approach you, or how did it all happen?
Well, Julian Clark approached me because he decided he was his riding career was finished and he wanted to get into professional management, and whether he approached other companies, I'm not sure, but I was very keen, in fact, to try and help Julian and John Osorio, because one of the most important factors of professional racing is that we need private teams. We need private teams that are going to be run professionally, and I've no reason to believe that it's going to be anything other than a professional setup. John Osorio's involvement in jet ski racing has been very, very good, and if he can repeat that in motocross racing, well, then he's very welcome, and we'll give him all the help we can.
It's a bit of a gamble you're taking to back a private team when we've not yet seen it out on the track and the way it will perform, but you're quite confident that Julian Clark, John Osorio and Jeremy Whatley as their rider can put over the Kawasaki image which you're so proud of.
Well, I've had a meeting with John and Julian and Jeremy and Ian Brown, and in my opinion you couldn't get 4 better guys together. And as I say, if we look at the results that John has produced with his jet ski team, then for sure he's on the same lines as I am as far as promotion and professionalism is concerned. That gives me every confidence, and I know that Julian really wants to make his mark in professional management of a motocross team, so he's got everything going for him.
The British national season kicked off on a sunny day down in Devon with the historic Patchquick Trophy, the largest piece of silverware in British motocross. Whatley, riding his British Championship number 10, was quickly embroiled in a battle with number 4, Paul Malin, on his factory Kawasaki. But Jeremy quickly brushed aside 19-year-old Malin, the find of the 1990 500cc Grand Prix season, and set about showing off his own prowess on an open-class bike round the picturesque hillside track. Now 28 years old, despite his impish image, Buck Whatley had, as Alec Wright said, a lot to prove. He first made his name on Kawasaki's as a precocious schoolboy in the late 1970s, winning all 3 national schoolboy championships in 1979. Then, in 1980, he sped into the British Adult Support Championship and won that. This elevated him into the British Open class, where his first season in 1981 resulted in a fantastic 4th place overall, behind world champions Graham Noyce and Neil Hudson. In 1982, Jem moved to 3rd in a championship dominated by Hudson and a future world champion, Whatley's contemporary Dave Thorpe. It is a record remarkably identical to that of Kawasaki's present teenage sensation, Paul Malin. But Whatley had by now moved to the company on which he would achieve his greatest successes during the 1980s, Heron Suzuki. In 1983, Jem won the magnificent Patchquick Trophy and went on to clinch his first national 250cc championship. 8 years later, with 3 utterly convincing race wins, he lifted the Patchquick Trophy once again. Could this be an omen for the coming season? Early in March, the scene shifted to Canada Heights in Kent and the first round of the British Open Championship. Whatley was very nervous and desperate to do well. In the first of 3 motos, he gated tight up the inside into an early lead. Canada Heights is a wooded circuit of soft orange sand which quickly dug out into long, dangerous ruts. Whatley, in masterly form, never put a wheel wrong as he cruised to a deceptively comfortable victory, his poise and balance perfectly suited to the treacherous terrain. 2 wins and a 3rd place at Canada Heights catapulted Whatley into a clear lead over defending champion Kurt Nickel. Confidence ran a little higher in the pits, despite John Osorio's characteristic expression of terminal gloom in conversation with his team manager, Julian Clark. Clark, himself a former Grand Prix rider, knows the score. Poor Ian simply worries about whether the bike will stick together, while Jeremy, always tense before a race, tries to remain calm and composed. 3 weeks later, the British Championship moved on to Lyng in Norfolk and a similar sand circuit to Canada Heights. East Anglia is home territory for Kurt Nickel, and despite Whatley hole-shotting the first moto, he had to play second fiddle to the reigning British champion on the day. But Jeremy has been around long enough to know that consistency and the accumulation of good points, not necessarily individual race victories, is what wins championships. His policy throughout the season was to go for victory when it was on and ride for good points if it wasn't. Second place at Lyng was good enough. Whatley retained a 13-point advantage in the championship, even though he confessed on the rostrum to a few unexpected problems.
The winning combination has gone out the window this afternoon a little bit. Any reasons?
Not really. Curve rode better than me today. It's super quick around this track and strong. I've had a hell of a weekend. I didn't tell you that's what the
blimey.
One there. I've had, so to get through the day with just like a brace of seconds, I'm really, really happy.
Well, we did talk about you trying to separate the gaffer's dog and your dog, and you coming out worst. Well, I mean, you didn't deserve that, did you?
Well, it was my dog attacking somebody else's, and I was quite happy to let it.
No, not your dog.
And the lady at the house said, like, stop him, so I tried to jump in, and Julian Clark, the manager, just stood there, so I was trying to get one off while the other one was having a go at both of us. So I just thought, I'll let him get on with it again.
After Lyng, the British Championship took a 2-month break. Action Workshop turned their attention to the 500cc Grand Prix. At least most of the team's personnel did. This is Whatley's young son Christian. More keyed up was his lovely pregnant wife Karen, enjoying the spring sunshine. Payerne in Switzerland was the magnificent setting for the opening blows of a 12-round series which would climax in California 5 months later. By now, Whatley knew he had the pace to embarrass the established 500cc Grand Prix stars. This knowledge made him and his team doubly nervous in Saturday's free training. Jeremy, always deceptively cagey during practice sessions, took it easily, but struggled during Saturday afternoon's qualifying session. The course was heavily watered overnight to counteract any dust problems in the warm sunshine, so come Sunday morning's timed training session, the track was treacherously slippery. Disaster struck. Timed training decides priority for choosing grid positions. Jeremy, always a fast starter, wanted a good spot on the start line, but crashed heavily off a greasy ledge on his first seriously fast lap, badly damaging his right wrist. Attempts were made to administer a pain-killing injection, and Whatley actually went to the line, but to no avail. Action Workshop's Grand Prix campaign was scuppered before it got started. It would be 3 months before Jeremy Whatley saw World Championship action again. After 2 of those 3 months, Buck returned to British Championship action at Ellsworth Motor Park, northwest of Cambridge. Whatley loves the course here and holds the unofficial lap record, but was dismayed to find even more jumps than usual to test his weakened wrist.
Injuries this year, you're certainly looking quite fit. A lot of pressure on you. It's not a big lead. Are you looking at consolidating it today and getting more? Because you got quite a few guys got different plans.
Well, it's only been one injury. It's been rather a long niggling injury. It's like as the race goes on, it maybe lose my grip. I'm not trying to lengthen the lead down, just trying to hang on to what I've got if I'm lucky.
Bike's running good in practice and the track looks good. So your mechanic says he's got it all tuned in.
The bike is always perfect. Ian Brown does a good job. The track is superb. I had it all figured out in my mind from last year. I knew all the jumps, where I should land. Thinking every jump wouldn't be too bad for me. Got here and there's like another 10 new jumps. So the old head went clean out the window last night.
Super, okay, well, we'll look for a good result. You keep yourself fit, keep waving the British flag over during the World Championships, and we'll look for a decent result for you.
Thank you very much.
Jim Whatley.
Jeremy's caution was justified. Despite his customary good starts, the Action Workshop Kawasaki slid gradually downfield as the day wore on. An encouraging 4th in race 1 was followed by 10th in race 2, after losing out to last year's British Championship runner-up, number 2, swerving Mervyn Anstey on the Écurie Sportive Honda. Worse still, Jem failed to finish the final moto. Kurt Nickel, 2nd overall behind Honda's Rob Herring, had hurled his KTM into a 20-point championship lead over Whatley. But by the time they were scheduled to race the next round 2 months later, Nickel would be sidelined with a broken leg. Meanwhile, Whatley, proud dad to 1-week-old daughter Jadie, made his return to the Grand Prix circuits at Hawkstone Park in Shropshire early in July. This was round 5. The series was already half over, but for an eager Jem, it had just begun. He spent practice feeling his way back into top-flight competition round one of the toughest, most demanding tracks in the world. Sandstone, rocks, ruts, bumps, whoops, deep sand and the legendary hill make Hawkstone Park the ultimate test of man and machine. Jem, as usual, took it easy during practice. Fans and foe alike wondered if the Hampshireman was truly race fit. Jem kept his cards close to his chest. Too often, he says, he's boasted to people what he was going to achieve, and too often things have gone wrong. All year, his intention was to keep his entertaining mouth shut and let his results do the talking. This track holds good memories for him. It was here in 1985, coming back from, yes, a broken wrist, in the last season he rode for Kawasaki, that Jem stunned everybody with a courageous win in the final moto of the 250 National Championships to snatch the title from his teammate Dave Watson. Here again, he thrilled 30,000 British fans by hole-shotting into an early lead in race 1, and, inspired by the deafening noise of their cheers and continental klaxons, hanging on to finish 5th. Better still, Whatley led the second moto for many laps, sending the race fans wild as he bucked and weaved his way skillfully through the choppy sand until, momentarily losing concentration, he hit a trackside fence. But nothing as trifling as a trackside fence was going to stop Whatley in this determined mood. He remounted and quickly caught up with number 46, Joel Smets, repassed the Belgian teenager and finished an exhausted, elated runner-up to world champion-elect George Jobet. Buck was back, the hero of the home crowd at Hawkstone Park. Meantime, daughter Jadie was grabbing the 40 winks her dad deserved, while Karen basked in the glories of motherhood and Grand Prix success.
Julian Clark, race team manager, Action Workshops. Your man today, you must be very happy.
Oh yeah, we're over the moon. Just for a slight mistake in the second one, he rode brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We had a few small problems with the bike in the first one. We're not sure if it was a main seal or something, but we swapped the bottom end and she ran real good for the second race.
The form that he's shown today is something that he was capable of all year. I mean, it must be pretty depressing to look back and think, well, you could be leading the World Championship by 50 or 60 points.
Sure, yeah, it is depressing, but you've only got to look what happened to Kurt, so you can't ever count your chickens before they're hatched.
No, I mean, Kurt's injury is like cost him a world title, but we can see Jeremy now going on to the hard tracks of Germany, Luxembourg and the more, and really getting a hatful of points.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jeremy having a win is coming real quick now, so we'll keep our fingers crossed.
And the goals left for the rest of the season is to get into that top 8?
Our main goal now is to win the British Championship. After the injury at the beginning of the year, the Grand Prix had to take second course. But for sure now, yeah, we hope to win the British and top 8 in the world.
And John, is Oreo an happy man tonight?
Oh, for sure. It's so good for John to see this happen today. It makes it all worthwhile for next year.
And then the one you want to go well in, isn't it? The British Grand Prix. It's where he gets the most publicity and the crowd got behind him.
For sure, the British Grand Prix gives him the feedback he needs, but in foreign meetings it doesn't really do a lot for what he puts in.
Well, congratulations to you and the team, and we look forward to seeing you race in Germany.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Julian.
Cheers.
A fortnight later at Reutlingen, a visibly cockier, more confident Whatley lined up for the German Grand Prix, 9th round in the series. No course could contrast more sharply with Hawkstone Park. Reutlingen is an ultra-fast, sweeping circuit, hard-packed, slippery and covered in small stones. A good start would be essential. Jem, taking his usual tight line into the fast left-handed first turn, grabbed an initial 4th place behind Belgian duo Georges Jourbet and Dirk Gerkens. Quickly disposing of sand specialist Gerkens, who eventually slid back to 8th place, Jem hung on for a while to eventual race winner Georges Jourbet. He also lost out to another triple world champion, his English arch-rival Dave Thorpe, riding number 5 on his factory Kawasaki. Thorpe was himself making something of a comeback after suffering an injury in Switzerland. David loves this sort of fast, stony track and went on to finish 2nd behind Jourbet. Jeremy, suffering back brake problems, eased his way through the race, anxious to score points and make some progress up that championship table. He let American Billy Lyles go clear in 3rd place, while Jem's 4th spot stuck another lucky 13 points on his scorecard. The gate drops on race 2. Another clean start for Jeremy. Up front, Dave Thorpe has made a break and goes on to capture his first Grand Prix moto win of the year and indeed his first overall victory. Whatley's strongest challenge for world honours was in 1988, when he and Dutchman John van den Berg were chasing the 250cc Grand Prix crown. But a simple, slow-speed practice crash broke his thigh. Now he's back, mixing it with the world's best, ahead of first race winner Jourbet, whose factory Honda was destined to derail its rear chain when holding 3rd place behind Jem. Whatley subsequently suffered a rear tyre puncture and came under pressure from Jackie Martins and lively little Austrian Karl Sulzer, number 27, on a Honda. But he just held on to beat Italian Walter Bartolini on the yellow 4-stroke Husaberg.
I'm very, very pleased. My fitness is pretty good at the moment. We've had another couple of weeks to get stronger and improve my stamina, which is showed today. In the first race we had a small problem with sticky rear brake, and I looked like I was on for a second place finish, but I started to make a couple of mistakes because of this rear brake, and I decided I need the points desperately, and because the way the track is laid out and the stones on top of the surface, I really didn't want to crash, and you would have had a freight train overtake you, and there's no chance of overtaking them back again on this track.
And the second race, that was real bad luck. How late did you get the puncture? I mean, we've seen you drop 2 laps from home, drop a few positions, but when did you know you had it?
I'm sure, as you've seen on the videos lately, my fitness hasn't been all it should be because of my wrist and getting back into riding. In the second race today, I really felt like, you know, like 99%. I made the full 100% effort. Like I say, I was, you know, been building up to do, and I was really pleased. I was holding Jackie, went down to 6, down to 5, up to 6, 7, 8 again, and I was holding him clean. And I think I kind of called his trump, and he'd had enough. And 2 laps to go, I got a puncture.
So you'd actually had the 2-lap board when you got the puncture, yeah?
Yeah. Well, it must have been just about 2.5 laps to go actually, and I don't know why, but normally when you have a puncture, the rim lock will hold it, but I think it broke the bead away from the tyre as well.
And the surface here is pretty hard, so I mean you just literally had to give those last few places away, yeah?
Well, I tried to save 1 place in Bartolini because I had like a quarter of a lap to do. It wasn't the fact I was worried about falling off, that I was really worried. As soon as it went flat, normally you have some sort of traction, but I was opening that up and the rim was spinning inside the tyre. And I thought, I've seen it like when I practiced, you can go for like maybe 10 minutes, full hole, and then the tyre will just come off the rim and jam, and it will go nowhere. So I thought like the most important thing to do, I thought maybe I had 20 seconds on the 5th guy, so like 2 laps at a real slow pace was better than nothing.
And did you realise at that time that you was going to be 2nd overall?
No, not at all. I have a bad habit working things out when I'm riding round. I knew I was going to be 2nd overall when Joby went down, and I was thinking at least it's going to be a good overall place. But then I just as soon as I got the puncture, all I was concentrating on was finish.
Round 4 of the British Open Championship took us up to Kurden Park in Lancashire on yet another sunny day at the end of July. Knowing Kurt Nicholl was out for the year with a serious leg break, Jem was out to defend his lead in the championship from fellow active participants Rob Herring and Dave Thorpe. But Herring goofed his starts and Thorpe simply never found the pace. So early challengers to Whatley's typically lightning getaway were number 29 Greg Hansen on a Kawasaki and number 2 the Acuri Sportive Honda of Mervyn Anstey. Jem, however, concentrated on the track ahead and getting that awesome Action Workshop power to the ground until he was caught by number 4, spectacular teenager Paul Malin on the factory Kawasaki. There followed a sizzling high-speed struggle for supremacy, Whatley punching the berms as hard as possible to throw up plenty of earth at his plucky pursuer. But Malin eventually did force past to take victory, leaving Jem a useful 2nd ahead of fast-gating Greg Hansen. Action Workshop's clothing sponsors for the first half of the year, Tackler, had gone bust, and Answer Clothing had stepped rapidly in at a moment's notice to knock up this handsome new black, white and green ensemble since the German Grand Prix 2 weeks earlier. Jem selects his starting gate for the 2nd moto. The gate will actually fall backwards, so you mustn't set off too soon, as Mark Banks, number 14, unhappily did right here. Whatley, however, grabs the lead once more as unlucky Rob Herring is brought down in the first fast turn. This time, Whatley is chased initially by number 2, Mervyn Anstey. Last year's British Open runner-up has not had a good season, picking up a knee injury at the 2nd 500cc Grand Prix in Finland after scoring a handsome 2nd place at the opening round in Switzerland. Bristol boy Brian Wheeler, number 8, hauls himself into the picture on his KTM, heartened by his best ever Grand Prix result, a 6th place in Germany 2 weeks earlier. The burly, big-chinned Wheeler barges past the notoriously awkward Anstey, who slips back to a disappointing 7th place as Robbie Herring's amazing charge pulls him through to 5th in the last 2 laps. Wheeler closes dramatically on Jem, but the experienced Whatley takes race 2. In the final outing of the afternoon, Jem finishes third behind Herring and Wheeler and joins them on the makeshift mechanical rostrum as overall winner. His British Championship lead over Herring handsomely increased to 24 points.
Right then, the 1, 2, 3. Brian Wheeler, Robbie Herring, and the winner, Jeremy Whatley.
Good ride in Germany last week. And when we spoke then, you said you would really like to win the British Championship now.
Ah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean...
Big step today towards that?
No, I don't think it's a big step. I mean, the people that are going to be in the championship at the end of the season still scored good points today. It's a small step towards it. I think I rode very, very nervously today. I rode very stiff. I can't put it down really to why I rode i.e. badly. Although I came away with the overall result, I don't know why I found it such hard work today.
Do you struggle sometimes to put it all together? I mean, we always see Jeremy Whatley as one of the most talented riders, very smooth. But you're telling me that there's days when you do feel stiff and you don't feel good on the bike?
I think it's maybe a difference between some riders having a bad day and still getting away with some result, and some other riders that when they have a bad day it's disastrous. And I really did ride. I rode really hard today. It's the hardest I've rode except for Hawkstone all year so far. The bike was giving me some real grief in places, but these are the races that 30 minutes feels like 45. And today I had 3 45-minute races, I can assure you.
Well, we look forward to the more next week, and then on to Luxembourg, and then back to try and tie up the British Championship. I mean, that's what it's all about now, isn't it? And to get in that top 8 in the world.
Top 8 is not looking too far away.
No, it's not.
As long as we keep having those 26 plus points every week at the Grand Prix. I mean, so far it's been good, but unfortunately when you're playing catch up all the time, you drop one, then you've got to do 2 good meets to catch up those other guys that have made a few points on you. So it's an uphill battle, but so far it's looking good. Getting back to the British Championship, I was flying at the beginning of the year and I'd like to recapture that again. I found it really easy then. I don't know if it's the type of track that has changed, because it was very soft and loamy at the beginning of the year, and I was well in control of the races. And as you see today, I was struggling a little bit.
Daughter Jadie, happily oblivious to her dad's problems, joins the rest of Action Workshop's long family outing and heads back south to find a decent pizza. Their search will eventually take them to Torrington in Devon, where another sun-blessed crowd buzzes in anticipation of round 6. The previous round at Boltby in North Yorkshire had been reduced to 2 races because of a nasty accident, but Whatley had been very happy with his 2nd place overall behind Brian Wheeler. Herring had a disastrous day and dropped to 3rd in the championship behind Dave Thorpe, but Thorpe trails Whatley by fully 39 points. Jem selects his customary favourite starting position, tight on the inside for the first turn. He always prefers sneaking up the inside, but in this instance is seriously out-dragged up the hill, and eventually settles for 5th place behind Paul Malin, Jamie Dobb, Brian Wheeler and Robbie Herring. In race 2, Whatley has to contend once again with swerving Mervyn Anstey, this time trailing a plastic streamer from his broken goggle roll-offs. But he beats the Écurie Sportive Honda to claim 3rd place. 3rd time out, and Jem slips back to 4th behind Wheeler. Rob Herring's runaway win has opened up the title chase once again. Thankfully, a disappointing day didn't dim Jem's sense of humour.
Maybe one test session, but I'm not going down to a track that 2 of the riders use regularly. Not looking at you, Dover.
The championship chase moved on to Crawley in deepest Sussex for the penultimate round of the series. Dave Thorpe, following a bad day in Devon, was virtually out of the hunt. The 1991 British Open Championship lay between Whatley and Herring.
What's it going to be today? I mean, are we going to go for stake, point, or are we going to let it all hang out and nail it? You got a lot of fans here. You got anything to say to the local people who sort of trying to keep you up there?
No, I'd like to thank you very much for supporting me over the years. I've been down to some troughs and some highs. Thank you for being there about the troughs, and thanks ever so much for being there about the highs.
We got to get a running fan.
Jem this time selects the far right-hand gate on the grid. The course at Cuckfield tears uphill into a sweeping right-hander, so this puts him on the inside of Thorpe number 5, Dobb number 7, Dangerman Herring number 3 and Brian Wheeler number 8. An impetuous Wheeler gets jammed. Whatley is slow away and finds himself mid-pack behind number 12, Jared Smith's Honda, before starting a determined charge up behind Thorpe. He quickly dismisses the former world champion, turns on the style and ends up a superb second behind Herring. "That was my best ride of the year," he says later. Then in race 2, Jeremy goes head-to-head with the Honda star. This is where a whole season's work can be won and lost. An anxious Ian Brown keeps Jem informed of the gap. Both men are riding on the limit, evenly matched and pulverising the opposition, led distantly by Dave Thorpe's Kawasaki. But Whatley maintains that tantalising 4-second gap over Herring to take a vital victory. Then in race 3, Jem drops the Kawasaki in these evil whoops on lap 1, allowing Herring to break clear and grab his second race win of the day. When they arrive at Foxhills Motor Park near Swindon for the final round of the series, the outcome is still wide open. Herring must win, while Whatley goes for points. Jem lines up alongside number 2, Swervin Mervyn Anstey, and number 4, Paul Malin. Side by side with Anstey out of the trap, Whatley wisely backs off, then sneaks typically back up the inside into the second turn. This was just the start he needed. By the end of the lap, he leads Anstey and Herring, who quickly storms to the front. Whatley, riding carefully round the slippery chalk slopes, maintains an unchallenged second place, Malin having crashed downfield after an early collision with Anstey. Exercising more caution than ever, Jem pussyfoots round Foxhills, taking his time to pass tail-enders like number 77, Paul Coward, on a Kawasaki. Herring springs back into the lead in race 2, but Buck Whatley only needs 10 points to clinch the coveted title. If he can just maintain his rhythm, then Action Workshop will be rewarded with a British Championship in their first season of motocross competition. Jeremy is not to be denied. He duly leaps across the line, fists aloft, in an excellent third position. Good enough, as team manager Julian Clark would say. A sporting Rob Herring is the first to offer his congratulations before Julian and a deliriously happy John Osorio reach their rider. Everyone crushes excitedly round the new British champion. Paul Malin, who clinched third place in the series, shakes hands with the champ. After 22 tough races, Jem Whatley's 5 victories and innumerable top 3 rostrum placings have paid off. Kawasaki's Alec Wright offers his congratulations to Whatley and all the Action Workshop team, and a mightily relieved Ian Brown takes charge of the winning bike.
Jeremy, let's have you here. Let's have the helmet off. Well done. Let's have the helmet off, Jeremy. What Jeremy's views are, how he's done it. Jeremy, what can you say? Just like other people have said in the past, when you're riding around, you can hear every little clunk and every little doggy cranny on the bike. Thanks for catching me up. I just want to keep away from him because he's renowned for being rather strong in turns. I didn't want to mix with him, so I was shouting at Mervyn and trying to make him go faster. Making him go faster. I'm trying to make him go faster because I didn't need to overtake him. I didn't want to overtake him and make him angry or anything. Jeremy, this year you've had 3 fantastic things happen to you. Hawkstone Park, the birth of your daughter, here today, which is the best? I've got to say really my daughter. You've got to. But this is a pretty close second. I've won 250 championships, but this is the championship I'm really glad was the one to win. Jeremy, I'm sure everybody here wants to pat you on the back. We hope to see you in the last race. Congratulations on 1991. And let's hope we congratulate you in 1992, but this time at world class. Thank you very much.
Later, Ian's pride and joy was auctioned for spinal research and went to the highest bidders, the Salop Motorcycle Club, whose secretary is Tony Johnson.
You've bought Jeremy Whatley's championship winning bike. Can you tell us what happened to it now? the plans?
Well, there was no plans. It was just on the spur of the moment. We had a quick meeting. We thought, well, we might be able to use it, and they'll certainly use the money. And the lads here said, yeah, we'll have a go for it, even if we push up the price for somebody else to buy it. But we've got it.
So the Hawkstone Park now will trade or find some way of funding more funds to come back in.
Basically, the idea now is that we'll do probably on New Year's Day and at the Grand Prix we'll have a raffle for both bikes, and any profit that we make in excess of what we paid for this we'll play back into the fund for them.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yeah, fine. It's traditional for us to give the championship winning bike to the rider. The last time, of course, was Kurden. They normally are contracted riders to Kawasaki, but we're so delighted this year with the work that Action Workshop have done that we'd like to make this presentation, Jeremy, if you'd like to come on. We have charged motorcycle.
What can I say, Alex? I don't think words are enough for this, really. My place is about 9 o'clock, and so thank you ever so much. I'd like to thank Ian, of course, and Julian Clark, John Azorio, and anybody else who's helped me throughout the year. Any time forgotten to mention. Just thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
The champion T-shirts, of course, were ready for wearing right away.
Rewarding year?
Very, yes. It makes all the hard work worthwhile in the end.
You've been with Jeremy quite a few years. Have you seen a change in him this year?
Yeah, I think he's been a lot more consistent this year. He's so much fitter than he ever has been. It's a shame everything didn't go right from the whole year.
And yeah, they lost the Grand Prix but won the British Championship. Very big step. And think he can go one better?
Oh, I'm sure he can.
And you've been with him several years, and we've never doubted his ability, with his feel for the machine. He can ride with a clap shock and all sorts of things that the others couldn't cope with.
Yeah.
And what's the one thing this year that's been different?
I think he's, in some ways, even though he's had some bad luck, he's had more good luck than he has over the past few years, because there's never been through bad riding that he's hasn't won World Championships. It's just from bad luck, injuries and such like.
Ian Brown, Jeremy Whatley's mechanic, Action Workshops, Kawasaki, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good year for Jeremy. How's it been for you too?
Brilliant, yeah. It's the best year ever, I think, this year. He's rode well. He's had a few bad problems, bad luck and everything with injury, but other than that, he's been riding really well. I'm really proud of him.
And this young lady here?
Yep, she's JD. She's 14 weeks old now. She went to watch him at the Grand Prix at Hawkstone when she was only 6 days old. So it's all in her blood already.
Has the family helped him? I mean, having the two young babies now, is it sort of, has he matured
so.
recently?
Yes. He's a better person at home, yes. He's more sensible now than he used to be when I first went out with him about 10 years ago now. He used to always want to go out and have fun, and now he's like a lot better now, yeah.
Is he good with the children?
Yeah, especially Christian. He loves him to death, yeah.
A long, hard season?
Beginning of the season was really easy. It was just like go out and ride, no pressure, because I wasn't expected to do anything, and even I didn't think I could get, like number one. I thought maybe top 5 and I'd be really happy with that. So it was no pressure, but then unfortunately, about halfway through the year, I'm thinking, oh, David's been hurt and Kurt's out, and now it's like possible. And I started riding with pressure to myself, which I'm sure you've noticed over the last couple of rounds. Maybe not this round in particular, or maybe the last one, but Torrington and the one before the year,
a little bit edgy.
I was really struggling. So.
Any doubts during the year? Begin to doubt yourself, yeah?
Not really, because you've got to keep telling yourself, like, it was. It's my little boy who wants to get in. Come on, Grizzler. All right. Go on then, off you go. Go on. So then I decided, you can do it at the beginning of the season, why can't you do it at the end? So, as luck would have it, we did.
Crawley, you rode superb at Crawley, second race at Crawley. You was the fastest man in that race, and you surely from that point on, you must have believed that, yeah, I can do it and I can do it easy.
No, first race was much more pleasing for me than the second race, because myself and David tangled going up the start straight, and I think I rounded the first turn in about 15th place. And I've always thought I couldn't, there's not a lot of overtaking space on that track. And I made up to second without, it was a little bit of a struggle, but I made second pretty easily.
And the whole team effort?
It's brilliant. I can't praise Julian Clark enough. He's the best manager I've ever had. I'm renowned to be awkward to get on with. I think
it has been said before.
Been said, but do you know it to be so?
No, I don't know.
So then, you know, like he took a bit of a chance with me at the beginning of the year, wanted me to ride 500s, and I took a chance with him. And luckily, it's a lovely relationship.
And Ian Brown done a good job with the bikes this year.
Superb job. I think we've had maybe one mechanical breakdown, which wasn't due to Ian. I mean, it was a slight malfunction of the bike, which, you know, you can't take any credit away from the bike. The bikes were brilliant. They're production bikes, so what more can I say? I'm very, very pleased with the whole team setup.
And the final word, John Osorio?
British Championships aren't new to him because he's real big in the jet skis, which is his main game, so I hope he's very pleased.
Well, fantastic effort. We've all enjoyed watching you all season. Jeremy Whatley, congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
John Osorio, a fantastic end to a marvellous season, capped today by winning the Open British Championship. Your feelings?
Oh, just delighted. It's something we aimed for, we dreamt for. We weren't sure we were going to do it, but we knew we had a chance.
And a team effort on all parts. I mean, Jeremy's ridden well, but everything else has fallen into place well this year, hasn't it?
The whole team has been superb. Julian, Jeremy and Ian have worked together as one. There's been very, very little arguments or disagreements. Everybody's had their own job to do and got on with it, and I think the result shows.
And the time, effort and finances that you've put into the team, well worthwhile?
The time and effort, yes. Finances, you can never say what is worthwhile, but to get a result at the end of the day, and the result without breakdowns on a production bike against factory bikes, gives me a lot of excitement.
Now we turn our attention to the damper side of life. This scene represents more familiar territory for Action Workshop. It is the Docklands Water Sports Club in East London. Here, wheels and dirt are exchanged for skis and water. The walls are festooned with all the gizmos and accessories essential to top-class jet skiing, a sport which has blossomed in England during the past few years. Colourful race shirts and riding jeans give way to equally flamboyant wetsuits. John Osorio has been running his Action Workshop jet ski team for 4 years now. His involvement has raised the levels of presentation and professionalism in the sport to new heights. This rig, being lowered gently into the drink, belongs to Mike Ritchie, a former British champion. Like Jem Whatley's motorcycle, this fearsomely powerful racing machine is a Kawasaki with a 550cc engine. Ritchie proceeds to give a giddy demonstration of his aquatic skills. With Mike Ritchie and Jem Whatley, Action Workshop has notched up a unique double, winning British championships in both these tough sports. Congratulations to everyone involved, and thanks to Humphreys and Parks and all our other sponsors.